Good evening and welcome back to Mind of a Musician. This is episode 20 and we're going to feature two bands today called Dreamist and The Cavves. And these bands are both featured on the Mind of a Musician Wichita Bands playlist volume 1 and compilation album. So if you go to mindofamusician.com, you can listen to the playlist, or if you enter your email address, you can download the MP3s for the compilation album, and these songs are both on there. So if you like these songs, you can own them and more if you go to mindofamusician.com. Okay, the first song we're going to check out is Beaches, and it is by The Cavves. Now, their name is spelled in an interesting way. It has two V's, so C-A-V-V-E-S. So if you go look it up on Spotify, spell it with two V's, The Cavves, and you will find their latest album. So, this song is actually just about growing up away from the coast and wishing that you were near a beach. It's kind of like, I grew up in Indiana and I loved the beach, but I only got to see it on vacation like every, 5 years, maybe 10. So I try to go a little more often now. But this is an interesting subject for this band because they describe their style as surf music. They also describe it as surfy angst and emo tears, tears with a Z. So for a surf rock indie band, it seems like a song about beaches is right up their alley. So I got some info from Sophie Emerson about how this song was written, and she said she was just trying to come up with a short, simple, fun, upbeat, catchy song. And she just played around with two chords and boom, Beaches was born. The most interesting part of recording this for the band was the crowd vocals because they were a lot of fun. And then when they played the song live, it was awesome to hear like the crowd joining in the crowd vocals, and they just got really pumped. And that was the whole point of putting them in the song, is to make the song bring some energy to the live show. So, with that in mind, if you like this song, this band is having a CD release party on April 12th at the Donut Hole in Wichita. So, I hope you like what you hear. I hope you'll check out that show. But let's listen to Beaches by The Cavves. All right, I hope you enjoyed Beaches by the Cavves. So remember, if you liked that song, check them out on April 12th at the Donut Hole and buy their new CD. They're really the only surf rock indie band that I've found so far in Wichita. So they really bring something to the table that nobody else is doing right now, which I think is awesome. So let's take a listen to our second band. This is Dreamist. They might sound familiar because this band was made up of former members of From Dusk to Beating Hearts, which is one of the first bands I featured on Mind of a Musician. So I want to say thank you to the band for letting me review your stuff and helping me get this podcast going. So if you look up Dreamist on Facebook, it says, "We like to make noise." I gotta say, this singer's got some pipes. He can really pull off that scream. I don't know if you ever listened to a band called At the Drive-In from Texas, but I loved that band. They split into two bands, Sparta and the Mars Volta. You've probably heard of the Mars Volta. They're kind of like a crazy progressive band. But their early style from At the Drive-In really reminds me of this band with maybe a little bit more atmosphere. So I asked Cole for a little bit of background on this song, and he told me it was written in his junior year of college when he was kind of having some trouble sleeping. He was going through insomnia, and then when he did fall asleep, he was sleeping in way too late. So he realized during that time there was a lot of stuff going on in his life, like a lot of issues that he just couldn't deal with or wasn't dealing with, so he would go to sleep just to avoid it. It was kind of like his coping mechanism. You know, everybody copes in different ways. Like mine is typically to forget about what's going on and go play Nintendo, or maybe write a song or just beat the tar out of my drum set. Something like that is what I typically do. But there was one time in particular where I just went to sleep. I was recording my second solo album, and I'd spent 6 months on it, and it was on this Gateway computer. And I went to format the hard drive, and I was trying to format the second hard drive, and somehow the computer just erased the backup drive that contained my album. And so I lost everything. And man, something I'd worked that hard on, I just stood there and was like, this can't be happening. And I just went to bed. What else do you do? It was 6 p.m. So I just went to sleep because I didn't want to think about it. But that's a time that I can remember sleep running myself. Later, I got this hard drive recovery program, and I got some of the raw MP3s, but I couldn't recover the session files. So I couldn't finish the album, but the demos I had, I put them together, and I called it Gateway of Destruction, since my Gateway computer crashed and destroyed it all. So it was kind of funny. Yeah, I'm still kind of depressed about that. But anyways, let's take a listen to this song. Tell me what you think. This is Sleep Running by Dreamist. All right, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. So I hope you enjoyed Sleep Running by Dreamist. Look this song up on Spotify, Bandcamp. So let's break it down a little bit more. Now, one thing I like is that really mellow synthesizer sound that comes in. I think that really brings a unique texture to this song. Some of the lyrics to this song are really interesting too, just kind of describe the kind of things he was going through. They say, "I'm dying for my dreams. Stay asleep for me. I'd rather run than heal, sleep running." So I'm not exactly sure what it means to say, "I'm dying for my dreams," but I mean, as a solo artist, I can remember I tried to make it just doing music and recording stuff for people for a couple years. This is probably 10 years ago now, but I had to like eat ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches all the time, and I thought, man, I'm starving so that I can make music. That's probably not exactly what Cole was referring to, but it is hard to be a musician and then go to college and have to have this identity crisis between music and a career. That's kind of traumatizing for a lot of us songwriters. Cole told me that one of the things he wanted to do with this song was to challenge himself to write something with a swing rhythm. It's something that he had not really done yet or done very often. So he came up with this song, he took that as a challenge, used the swing rhythm, and then came up with the skeleton of the song and then brought it to the band. And they collaborated together to finish. There's an Easter egg in this song. You'll hear during the breakdown before the last chorus, you'll hear some screaming. And that's actually Cole trying to warm up his voice. They just decided to leave it in the background in the recording. So that's kind of like a fun little Easter egg that you can go back and listen for and see if you can spot it. But this song was also recorded, mixed, and mastered by the band themselves. So it's another do-it-yourself project. We've had a lot of those on this podcast recently, and I think that's awesome. Recording stuff yourself, it is hard. Like, you've got an idea in your head that you're shooting for, and you're trying to get it to sound like what you have in your head. It can be a real challenge, but I think it's really rewarding when you get there. And it's really cool that the band was recording this themselves. All right, that's all I've got for this episode. I hope you guys will check out the Cavves and Dreamist, and go to mindofamusician.com and download the compilation album or listen to the playlist on Spotify. There's a bunch of local bands on there. There's 16 MP3s that you can download for free. And over the next few weeks, we're going to continue this series on the podcast where we just tell the story behind some of the songs and tell some information about the recording process, how the artist came up with it, all stuff like that. So if you want to help these bands get out there and spread this playlist around town, let me know. I'll give you some business cards. Share this on Facebook. It really goes a long way. Share the playlist with your friends. Whatever we can do to build this local music community and make it stronger, let's do it. So also check out ict-radio.com. We're one of their featured podcasts now. So we are like-minded. We are united in this vision of trying to strengthen local music. And these bands are awesome. So let's share them with the world. All right, I'll see you in a week with another band or two, and we'll see you next time.